Hey, Brian Whitaker at Wits End Ranch, and yeah, definitely time to move. I even ate up most of that hay. Got Copper out. I got Sawyer out as well. I trimmed up their feet. Sawyer's up there. He'll be on the next ride here. Just thought I'd do a little loop around, just kind of check out everything. I try to make that my goal. Kind of one of the first things in the morning is just do the rounds, as I say, and usually it happens in the morning chores early anyway. By now, everybody's getting hay at this point. A little bit of hay supplemented with their pasture, so then I get eyes on them all. But it's nice to get up close and see how this grass looks. Yesterday, we did some wood cutting. Took down a couple of trees that were. Got a bunch of trees here. There's over 100 of them there, and just circle of life. They're dying off, and so we took a couple of them that are the most dead. That I've had trees fall down on the driveway. They're right along the driveway there, and last year one fell on the driveway during a storm. So trying to stay ahead of that, take it down in our terms, and then that'll be used for firewood, campfires. But spent 3-4 hours doing that. And that's always nice. It's always nice to be done with those stuff too, but I enjoy it to a certain extent, especially on a cool day, windy day like that, where, well, if it's sunny like this, I don't always get the opportunity to do this kind of stuff, but I just need to make it. And that's one thing I learned the hard way, and I found other people had to kind of learn the hard way, is when you either can manage your own property or people get their own property. I used to board horses for years, and I leased a barn when I was training somewhere, and so all the maintenance really outside of what I had to do was not my responsibility. And I welcome to do all these different things, fence, maintain fence, put up fence, wood, tree cleanup, and I just put in some new upgraded lights in the barn, and just maintaining a house and all these different things, cleaning the house. And so sometimes you get busy with all that stuff doing, you don't get the time to enjoy the reason that I came out here. And not that some of those things aren't enjoyable. I try to make housework enjoyable, but it's nice when it's done. That's about it. But I found that to be true with other people that completely underestimated the amount of work. It's not always dictated by how much acres you have or not. There's other things involved, how many animals you have, and what the setup is. So that's kind of my advice to people that are looking to even just get a few acres, especially if they've boarded. Just one is probably a lot more expensive than you could think, and two, it's a lot more time consuming, and I've had to learn to be a lot more handier with stuff than I'm still not near as handy as I could be. But I figure if I get too handy with a wrench, that maybe is what I'm going to start doing more of, and that's not my personality. I'm happy to get things done, tractors, trucks. And then there's time to call a professional and have them do that but you do save a lot of money that way, and times it pays off to have someone else do it. But all these other things, fences, on and on. I'm daily checking the fences just to make sure there's good strength in them. Well, those cattle seem like they want to be moved, and I think they're right, so that'll be the next job here. I just want to soak this up. It could be a lot different in a few days, and it could be a lot different for several months. Copper said he'd like to eat on this a little bit. You'll get your chance. Well, decided to move them after all. They're standing here patiently, and it's absolutely time to move them off of that. I think there'd be diminishing returns if I kept unrolling on that short grass, so they're out here now. Plenty of grass. There's some clover some of it's still in bloom that they just love. Some taller grass, shorter grass. Got the water tank moved by hand. I was trying to figure out how Copper could help me move it, but any idea that I quickly came up with, I figure it might damage it more than anything, because he could move it, but it might not be the same after, even though these tanks are tough. This is a classic example where the knockoff brands aren't even anywhere close. They're not a whole lot cheaper, but I've gotten 2 seasons out of them. Some of these I get 10 seasons or more. This one, it's cleaned, it's moved, it's filling. 150 gallons of fresh water on hand, plus it's on a float on demand. I think that's it. I think it's time for lunch. Oh, that's a happy, tell you what, when they're happy, I'm happy. That's usually how this works. If they're upset or bothered or hungry, or they're rarely cold. If they're hot, then I'm trying to come up with, you always have a plan A, but sometimes there's got to be a plan B and G. But calves are happy, the cows are happy. They've just put their heads down and start eating, so that's always good. It's amazing how quickly these calves are 5 to 4 months old, 5.5 months to, they're maybe 4.5, some of them. And man, they still get milk, and they still go to their mother in some things, but for the most part, they just obviously put their head down and graze with the rest of them. They'll be on their mothers for, well, some of them I never did wean last year, and it worked out fine. The mothers slowly wean them off. It just depends. I like to go at least 7 months before I would think about weaning, but you never know what might come up. Oh, that's a good sound through the clover, Copper. They love this spot because a lot of clover grows here. And then they'll spread those seeds, the clover seeds out in the pasture with their manure, so that's good. Hondo thinks we're gonna roe deer or track or something, but we're done. That'll do. Good boy. That'll do. Time for lunch. Have fun, girls. Little bonus. Thought I'd come out later and do that, but that's the nice thing of having, they call it a get down rope. Just a rope that I've, over the years, over time taught, in this case, Copper, how to lead from the neck. So it's always here, it's on my belt. I forget it's there until times like that where I don't want to lead them by the bit. Bit isn't designed to lead. It's designed to be in their mouth from up here. Not some bits you can maybe get by with that, but just as a rule, I don't like to do that. So I've always got a lead rope. So I need my hands free to open up the fence and move the water. It's just always nice to be able to do that. I appreciate you watching. I appreciate you subscribing. If you liked it, click on the like thingy, and see you down the road. Happy trails.